Hi, good morning. Successful weekend for cross country overall. Women got us started on Friday with a third place finish in the conference. It was one of the more competitive fields at the conference level since I've been here. I guess in 6 years it was probably the most competitive women's field. So for us to finish third, to be top three in that field, I thought was very good. There are probably 4 teams in the conference that will be represented at the national meet if I had to guess. So I thought, Cleo was 12th. She was our top finisher for second team all SEC. We had a lot of girls that were running at the SEC level for the first time or who we were counting on as contributors for the first time. So I thought, all things considered, their third place finish was very strong. Men's team, obviously an incredible day, winning our first conference championship ever. I think in 6 attempts, we've been close. Really close 2 times, but I think 4 of the last 5 years of going to this meet, we always thought we had a chance to win. So to finally do that and actually come home with a trophy was incredibly satisfying. I think we scored 36 points, which was our lowest score that we've ever had. I think our finishing spread, our top finisher was in fourth place, and our 5th place score was in 11th place in the conference, and I think only 14 seconds separated our 1st and 5th runners. So you really can't have much of a better day than we had. So to come to the SEC meet knowing you had a chance to win and obviously running your best race of the year as a whole team and pulling off the championship was definitely a very, very exciting day for us. Up next, we will head to Tallahassee for the South Regional, NCAA South Regional. That is next Friday. Our men will likely enter the regional as the favorite. But you still have to run the race to qualify for nationals. You still have to show up and perform. So obviously there's no easy route to get to the NCAAs. On the women's side, there will be 5 teams at that regional competing for 2 automatic qualifying berths. It will definitely be the most competitive our regional meet has been since I've been here as well. So certainly will be a good challenge for our women's team. And I think if things go well, we should be looking to go and secure an automatic berth for the 3rd straight season. Any questions?
What kind of clicked for y'all in the men's race? I mean, I know cross country is kind of a unique sport, but on that day, what kind of clicked for your team?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've sort of been overlooked this year. I think there was a lot of preseason hype around other teams in our conference, and I think for once we kind of flew under the radar and just, I think amongst ourselves over the last month or so, we kind of started to realize that, hey, if things go our way, we could maybe pull it off. But as to what actually clicked on that day, we just had, a couple guys really step up big. And I just think, this group certainly, in terms of training and just consistency throughout the season, it's been one of our best years overall. And so I think there was just kind of a feeling amongst our group that, hey, we're going to go in and compete really hard together. And I think as we got further and further into the race, it became clear that, we had 5 guys up in the front of the race. And I think once they started to notice that, they really fed off that energy. And then in the last 1,000 meters of the race, one of our guys made a hard surge and kind of broke the race open and pulled the rest of our group along, and it just went from there.